kind of the scope of this, I think, was to consider how not only we identify, but also how other people identify, and how that connects to the work that we do in the classroom. I'm actually really glad that I'm following Penny's gem because I kind of zoomed right in on what Robin said yesterday when she said identity is so important, because that is the theme of my gem. This year at my school, in response to the sort of rekindling of the Black Lives Matter movement from the previous spring, our director asked for volunteers to form a committee to help improve our school under the lens of diversity, equity, justice, and inclusion work. We actually move those letters around and call it the JEDI committee because it sounds fun. But I have to say that this has been the most rewarding experience for me in the last few years, not just because I feel like I need to do this work for myself to kind of check my own privilege, but also to get to know my colleagues and students in a different light. So the committee met monthly, more or less, except in the months of April and May, where we met weekly, and each person kind of took a turn facilitating about different topics, from critical race theory to LGBTQ plus concerns, student perspectives on social justice. And at the end of the year, we shared the work that we had been doing out with the staff as a whole. And in addition to presenting what we had done and learned from the process so far, 2 of the committee members did an activity about identity that the staff really, really enjoyed. And it went something like this. So we all met in the cafeteria, and around the cafeteria walls, there were 8 social identifiers on the wall. And there were also descriptors on the tables for us to look at. And those identifiers were age, ability, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, socioeconomic status, and religion. And so we were then asked to choose 3 identifiers that we were most aware of right now, or identifiers that we were comfortable talking and having conversations about with other people. And then we would choose one to go and stand by that poster in the cafeteria. And then based on whichever group kind of gathered around that poster, then we broke off into groups of 4 and sat down at one of the tables and had a moment to kind of talk about why we chose that identifier, how that identifier shapes how we perceive and experience the world around us, why it's important to us. And the whole kind of the scope of this, I think, was to consider how not only we identify, but also how other people identify, and how that connects to the work that we do in the classroom. And what I really enjoyed about this activity was that it helped create a sense of connection and belonging amongst staff that was, really, really key. I don't think we had a moment throughout the school year because it was so fractured and disconnected. We were, in school half the time, we were at home half the time. Our new staff came in and they were, they didn't get to bond with the returning staff. And it was just a really good chance to get to know each other better. I personally hate small talk, so I find that these opportunities to really dig deeper into medium and large talk really meaningful. And I think that this work is especially important to do in international schools, where sometimes our students are kind of reduced to a nationality as written on a passport rather than how they choose to identify. And so I'm hoping next year to kind of recreate this experience, or a shorter version of this maybe, to be done in our advisory program, so that students will feel that they're seen and heard for who they identify as and who they really are, which I think is the foundation of well-being and also building a strong and connected community. So identity is important.